Welcome. We're ready to start creating our character class. So we're going to do that in this video and ensure that we have our folder structure set up for our C++ classes to keep our project organized. So let's get started. So here's our project, and so far our C++ classes folder has the Blaster Game Mode base class. We're going to create a new character class. So we can do that from within C++ classes in Blaster by right-clicking and selecting New C++ Class. Now we're going to create a class based on character, so let's select character and click Next. Now for this project, I'm going to name the character class Blaster Character. And we'll be creating quite a few classes for this project, so I'd like to keep them organized in their own folders. I'm going to create the Blaster class in a folder called Character. Now, I leave it up to you if you'd like to use the public and private folder structure. I'm okay with not using private folders, so I'm going to leave it as is and simply add Blaster Character in its own character folder. So let's click Create Class. Now, because we chose to add the character class in its own character folder, we're going to get this message that says we need to recompile the Blaster module. And that's because we get an automatic compiler error. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to click No. And Visual Studio is going to ask me if I'd like to reload the project. I'm going to click Reload All. Now here's the project. And I now have this character folder under Blaster in my source folder with blastercharacter.h and .cpp. Now here in blastercharacter.cpp, we have an include error because it's trying to include blastercharacter.h from within the character folder, but our CPP file is already in the character folder. So we can simply remove this character in the include statement, and that'll get rid of the errors. So we should be able to compile now. So now that we have a successful compile, we can go back to the editor and make our character blueprint based on our new Blaster Character class. Now I'm going to right-click on Content and create a new folder, and this will be for all of our blueprints we create for this project. So I'm going to call this folder Blueprints, and I'm going to make a character folder in the Blueprints folder. So I'm going to call this folder Character, and here is where I'll place the character blueprint. So I can create a new C++ class based on Blaster Character. So let's do that, and I'm going to stick it here in Blueprints Character. Now I'm going to name this BP underscore Blaster Character. That way we know which one is the Blueprint class and which one is the C++ class. So let's click Create Blueprint Class. And here's our character blueprint. Now straight away I can select the mesh. So I'm going to select Mesh, and for the skeletal mesh, I'm going to choose our character from the Learning Kit games. Now there's an SK Epic character that looks like this. Now I see that it's facing the Y direction and I want it facing the X, so I'm going to rotate it by 90 degrees. Now its feet are at the center of the capsule, and my capsule half height is 88, so I can move the mesh down by 88 units. So let's get its location Z and set that to -88. Now our character will be placed on the ground. So I'm going to compile and save. And we now have our character class and our blueprint. So we've now created our character class, and we have a blueprint based on this class. And we stuck this class in a character folder, so our C++ solution is organized. In the videos to come, we'll add a camera and a spring arm, and then add some inputs and program movement functionality. I'll see you soon.